Well, after several years of trying, I got my data back, and I can finish my screenplays. I can send them to my cousin, and I'm not used to something so right, and I don't want to sing a Paul Simon song. Uh, Today they were filming at the skate park, and it was both cute and annoying. Annoying because since when, just by being somewhere, you sign a contract to be in someone's bullshit? So because I don't want to be in someone's bullshit, I go to the back, I start watching this really cute kid learning to skate. The mom was being so sweet, and I'm smoking weed and I'm making jokes, and I look up and I see a guy holding a black thing that damps the light, right? I'm thinking, how'd you like that to be your job, right? And then I'm thinking, I wonder if he's the key grip. Then I realize he's not only not the key grip, he's not the first or the second or even the third grip. He's like the disposable grip, right? Like he can get murdered and the production can continue. He is the equivalent in the old Star Trek of the guy with the red shirt on that's going to die in the episode. You know he's going to die. So I go and I try to tell my grumpy old friend Tom about this. And Tom goes, yeah, uh-huh. And I get to the part about, I'm like, man, I'm killing here, right? But did you know? Mischievous glint in his eye like a leprechaun. Absolutely no laughter, right? And then I realized that Tom has told me a series of absolutely non-sequitarian jokes. Stories, non-stories. These stories are like LA. They say there's no there there. That's these stories. But he tells them with tremendous pomp and circumstance. And every time, like a stupid dog, I fall for it, right? Like the dog that you throw the ball and it's a fake and the dog, where's the ball? Repeatedly, I'm like, oh God, my Uncle Tom is gonna, he's like 80, right? We talked about weed, we talked about LSD, but like, you know, one of his stories that goes nowhere is like, you know, so one time I go to Vegas, and it's long story. Make a long story short. So I put the, on the red, we go to Sands, then I go to the Hilton, right? Anyway, I not only did not understand the story even after I asked, but basically what I got was, he lost repeatedly, and that's a story. And I was like, Tom, that's like a fishing story where it's 20 minutes of, and then this and that, and then I never caught a fish. That's not a story. You got to have there's an arc, and then you, right? It's just like, and I'm like, and he's like laughing like, don't you get it? So today, his response to my routine that I just did for you, which he refused to laugh at because he's a grumpy old fuck, and he just won't give it up. And he's like he has a funny bone, but it's like an antiquated, old, rusted, broken-ass, fossilized dinosaur of a funny bone, right? Here's why. Because he says, you want to hear a Strate story? One time back in the day, we're over at my place, and we were hanging out next door at Jerry's. I don't know who Jerry is. He never explains who these other people in the stories are, right? Just he's old. You got to figure it out, right? And they're filming, and Cary Grant and Bridget Bardot wind up on a porch there. And they're talking, right? And I'm like, oh, this is going to be great. I'm going to hear about Cary Grant and Bridget Bardot, and, you know? And all of a sudden, I can hear it like it's happening right now. I can hear it like it's yesterday. I hear this voice, he goes, and I'm like, oh, this is going to be Cary Grant. Shut up and get off my porch. Because it was Jerry, see, and he didn't like them on his porch. And I said, Tom, why is that a good fucking story? I want to hear words of wisdom from Cary Grant and Bridget Bardot. And, you know, he says, no, the point is that they didn't give a shit. He didn't give a shit. Fuck you, Hollywood. Get off my porch. You see, back in the day, I think that wasn't a story. Now it's like kimchi. It gets worse with time. So what I'm saying is, actually, kimchi gets better with time. It's just Tom gets more annoying with time, and that has its own fermented, rotten flavor that's kind of fun and spicy and just kind of weird. The fuck, man? I've realized that I will never crack this person up. I will almost never crack this. You know, it is almost a guarantee that, like, you could be the funniest comedian, but it's like fighting a guy who's 1,000 pounds. Once you're training with a guy who's 1,000 pounds, a guy your own size, 250 pounds, I kick the shit out of you. So, yeah, good day. Not sure where I was going with that. Tom is just amazing, right? One time he tells me a story, and I thought it happened in Maine, and he won't retell the story because apparently it happened in Boston or somewhere. So he won't, not tell his story, right? Best laugh I ever got out of Tom, he was trying to be intentionally annoying, and I said, fuck you, Tom, and he went, like this diabolical, like, He likes being fucked with, right? long story, and the point of the story, basically what I got was, so we exited the town, we went out in the woods, we did maneuvers, because you got to do maneuvers. He drives around in a cul-de-sac. He doesn't like antioxidants. They're bad for you. The cul-de-sac of life, right? And we did maneuvers, and he does like 20 minutes on what maneuvers are and how you do maneuvers. And okay, Tom, I've heard Army stories. You dance around in the fucking woods, okay? You play with your gun, you clean it, you make sure the tanks run it. And then eventually, see, we came back at our own town. Only he won't tell the fucking story. And it's the only, because some of these non sequiturs just go nowhere. Like I say, they're like LA. There's no there. And then, but sometimes it's like they sort of do go somewhere that's amusing in and of itself because it's ridiculous. And somewhere you're just like, dude, that was not a story with the Cary Grant. I did not want to hear Jerry, whom I don't know, John. Get it. Yeah, so, oh, that's the other thing. Told him a story. I'll tell you the story briefly. The story. I used to say that in Tucson it really sucks because back in the day I realized that we were living in the Wild West. And the unpleasant thing I realized about humanity was that people are so horrible that in a town where you can get shot, they're nicer. He'll let you tell him a story because he wants to hear it, but then he questions you on the logistics like an annoying child to make sure he gets them right, and they all add up. I go, Tom, one time I was at a place it was like a Taco Bell, gas station, 7-Eleven combination. Right near the University of Arizona, right? Guy pulls up, he sees a guy, he backs up, he gets out of the car, and what I see in my brain is his hand coming like this. Right? I saw a hand. It obviously was a gun. He runs up to this other squirrely guy who's fumbling with this little, like, 22 brass, stainless steel revolver. He takes his 45 clip, he goes, "Puto motherfucker, bitch, give me that fucking thing." He smacks him, pistol whips him with his own gun, grabs the guy's gun as he's fumbling with it to try and shoot him, tells him to fuck off, gets back in the car and drives away. I dove for the wall, and as I did, my life literally flashed in front of me, and I thought, I'm not doing this quick enough, and is this really happening? What Tom said was, he goes, "Now wait a minute. Did he pistol whip him with the same gun? Did he pistol whip him with his own gun?" I said, "No, Tom, it was like a two-part operation. There was the pistol whipping with his own gun and then grabbing the gun. It was like a two-part thing." He said, "So he didn't pistol whip him with his own gun?" I said, "No, that would have been better. It would have been more humiliating, but he didn't want to get shot because when this guy left his house that morning, he had a list of shit to do. And number one was don't get shot. And number two was if you see that puto motherfucker, smack him and take his gun. Number three was pick up some milk at the 7-Eleven. And number four was maybe do number three before number two if you want to get number one accomplished." Now, I realize it takes a certain amount of intelligence to understand that joke, so I'll explain it. See, you want to make sure you didn't get shot. That was at the top of the list. He really wanted to take the guy's gun away, but he figured maybe when he thought about it that number four was maybe do that before the milk so that after you pistol whip him, you drive away with the guy's gun and the milk, you got it all covered. Because you got number one, and that was at the top of the fucking list. So, but what I'm saying is, Tom wants to know, did he pistol whip him with his own gun? And then I got to think about the logistics of no. Here's what it involved with the pistol whipping and the reclaiming of the... Because he had a list, this guy, when he woke up, and he... Yeah. Old, rusted-ass, fossilized dinosaur funny bone thinks that's funny when they tell... The funny part, Tom, is that you're so fucking old that you have a story with Cary Grant and Bridget Bardot in it. That's the funny part, old guy, okay? Okay, later.